You're all very welcome to the final lecture in our Startup Toolbox. Bite-sized educational experiences to your living rooms and kitchens and home offices since late September at this point in time. We're really going out with a bang. However, before I introduce Andreia, I wanted to take a moment to gush about the driving force behind all of this. Ala, who is probably going to refuse to switch on her camera and wave, has been doing a brilliant job at getting all of our speakers lined up and taking great care of them and making sure all the tech works, and just an absolutely stellar job. So if you're sitting in your kitchen in your living room and you feel like giving Ala a round of applause, that would be wonderful. But today, we are very honored to have our speaker, Andreia Trigo, an award-winning nurse consultant, author, TEDx speaker, and more importantly, Startup Toolbox webinar speaker. Andreia holds 2 master's degrees in administration, politics, and management in healthcare, and advanced practice in leadership from King's College London. Andreia is on a mission to use technology to improve fertility health worldwide. She collaborates with clinics and the fertility industry to improve patient experience, education, and clinical outcomes. Andreia is the founder of the Enhanced Fertility Program, an online platform that promotes fertility health through lifestyle and behavior modification, and Infertile Life, which helps people cope with childlessness not by choice. She's also the co-founder of, and this is a list, Uma Vida Mais Fertil, a Portuguese initiative that raises awareness of fertility through podcasts, online magazines, and events, and the Independent Fertility Nurse Group, a partnership of fertility nurses that supports patients by providing research-based fertility knowledge and expertise, and the co-founder of Sedate UK, which uses high-fidelity simulation to train healthcare professionals on sedation practice. Andreia is going to talk to us about digital marketing strategies for startups. And over to you, Andreia.
Well, Rosemary, thank you so much for what an introduction. I'm going to share my screen with you to share my presentation. And first of all, I would like to thank you for inviting me to be here today. It's really an honor to be able to help other startups, because I've been there a few times, like you mentioned, and I've learned so many things along the way. I'm not a marketeer, I'm just a founder. But I've learned a lot of marketing strategies along the way, and I wish I had known some of these strategies a while back. So I won't repeat what Rosemary already said, but I am a nurse by background, and I would say I'm a serial business owner. So I've opened several businesses throughout my lifetime, and it all started in 2008. And the reason why you see here a cross is because this was my big fail. And they usually say if you need to fail early and fail quickly. And that's exactly what happened in 2008. I had an initiative in Portugal, which was the Institute of Simulation, where we were planning on creating this fake hospital where doctors and nurses could practice on high fidelity simulators before actually touching patients and treating patients. So I could blame the 2008 economic crisis for this big failure, and I would say that it probably had something to do with it, but not everything. I was very inexperienced. I didn't know a lot about business at the time. I also didn't know a lot about marketing, sales. So there was a series of things happening that allowed me to fail, and fail big, and then also learn a lot from it. Then when I came to the UK in 2012, straight after the economic crisis, that was pretty hard in Portugal, I founded my first company that was a success, which was Sedate UK. This is still ongoing. And this company was training doctors and nurses how to administer sedation, again, using high fidelity simulation, but in a very niche and specific role, which was the sedation practitioner. So here we were successful from day one. And I think we've done a lot of things differently when I compare it to my initial company that failed in 2008. So we had a very specific product. There was a very specific need in the market where it was a training that was required by everyone who was involved in this practice, and no one else was providing that training. So we saw that a gap in the market. So this product, this service that we are still providing was successful since day one. This was the first instinct that I had that maybe I should have some sort of social media. Up to 2014, I didn't have any Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. I didn't have any of that. And the other founders of Sedate UK also didn't have social media. And our marketing strategies at this point started by sending letters, printed letters, real paper in the post to the hospitals. And that actually had a very good response, and people were booking into the course. But after you send a few letters, how many letters you need to send? And it's also very time consuming as well. So we thought maybe we should have some sort of social media. And that's when my journey of discovering social media started in 2014. I've Googled myself and it's like I never existed before 2014, and it's quite interesting. Then in 2017, I decided to have a career change, and I decided to work in the area of fertility, mainly because I had my own journey with infertility, and I wanted to grow beyond my own wound of infertility and give back to this community and sort of combine my professional skills with my personal experience. Here, I had the biggest challenge because I wasn't recognized in the field for being a fertility nurse, whereas I was recognized for being a sedation nurse and an anesthetic nurse. So the first company in 2014 happened quite easily, quickly. We were recognized, there was a need. Whereas here in the fertility, no one knew me in this area. Who is this nurse? Where does she come from? What are her qualifications? What is she doing? So it's quite difficult to enter the market. But I knew I had a good product. I knew from the point of view of the patient what I wanted, and that helped me. But again, here I had to make huge efforts in terms of marketing to create brand awareness for who I was, the product I was creating. And we're actually launching our app next week. So this is really exciting. And this year, we've created Uma Vida Mais Fertil, which is the Portuguese initiative, because there's not a lot of support or marketing services for fertility clinics in Portugal. So we saw that there was a need in the market again. And this was probably the one with the biggest growth, because we already knew what we were doing in terms of marketing and social media. The growth was exponential, especially because of coronavirus, because patients were needing more support more than ever. And secondly, this allowed us to, well, actually we're about to sign a contract and we are having to incorporate the organization quickly than we would have just so we can sign the contract. So I think there is a growth process here. And what I would like to do is share some of the things that I have learned along the way, because if you can do everything right from start, then you are more likely to be successful. Now, I'm going to launch my first poll. I know you love polls, and the first poll is, I don't think we have this poll here, but it's here. So do you have a big budget to create your brand awareness, launch your product, and promote your services? So I'm telling you from my own experience, I didn't have this budget. I'm just now, after all these years, starting to get someone to help me with my marketing and with my social media strategy and starting to spend on ads. So I didn't have any of it. So there's still some questions, some answers coming. So I'm going to end the poll and share the results. So as we can see, no one said yes. So there's actually a lot of you who don't have that big budget. And that's why it's so important. I know there's a lot of people who know a lot about marketing, branding, selling. But if you don't have the budget to outsource it to these companies, I want to give you some tools today that maybe will allow you to start in-house. And then eventually, as you grow, you can outsource it to someone else and sort of become the CEO of your business and not work on the business on its day-to-day. The second thing that I would like to ask you is whether you have a team to do your marketing for you, your marketing and sales. You don't. Some of you do. Let's see the answers coming in. So in the beginning, I didn't have anyone. It was just me or just me with the other two co-founders who might be doctors or nurses. So none of us have marketing or sales experience. I think so I'm going to share the results, and the vast majority of you don't have a team to do your marketing and sales. And like I was saying, I didn't have that either. So we were doctors and nurses who were starting these companies. And I don't know if you feel the same way. If you were a doctor or a nurse, I almost felt that I didn't need to market or sell my services because everyone wants to buy health. It's the thing that everyone needs. So when I moved to the private sector, that's when I understood that it is in fact important to market yourself and sell yourself because there's so much competition. But in the beginning, I had to make that shift in thoughts and beliefs around why would I need to market and sell myself if everyone needs health. So today in this webinar, the reason why you need the information that I'm about to give you is because startups often have a limited budget and limited resources to launch their products. But at the same time, you also need significant efforts to create brand awareness that isn't there, to create marketing strategies to promote your services. So I want to give you some of those practical tools today, and you're going to be blown away by what I'm going to tell you because I wish I had known all of these things when I first started. So today we're going to cover social media channels, talk about the importance of having a website and a blog. I'm going to tell you about an amazing tool that allows you to do some branding and design for non-designers. I'm not a designer. I never had a great eye. I'm just starting to learn about it. So this tool is amazing. I'm going to teach you some of the marketing basics for non-marketeers, something really simple that you can understand and you can apply straight away as well. And we're going to talk about creating a sales funnel. We're going to talk about the journey of your customer. How do they make decisions and how can you create and facilitate that sales process? So we're going to dive straight into the social media channels. And I want to talk about what to share, where to share, and when to share the posts that you need to share about your business. But first, I want to understand what is your preferred social media channel to engage with your customers. There are so many and they're all different. We're going to talk about all of these social media channels, advantages and disadvantages, and the features of what they allow you to do and to post. And it might be that after today, you adjust your strategy a little bit, and that is absolutely okay. So I'm going to end the poll. I'm going to share the results. And we have here a lot of you using LinkedIn. That might be because you are looking for B2B sales. Some of you using Instagram and Facebook and Twitter on an equal share, and then YouTube as well. So clinic and website, we'll talk a bit about it as well. So We're going to start first with Facebook. And when you open Facebook, these are just some screenshots I took of my own Facebook. This is what you see. And here you have stories. I'm not sure if you are used to doing stories, but stories are messages that stay here for 24 hours. So of course, you can share something or written photos, or you can share here in stories, and people who follow you will be able to see your stories. However, this is all your personal branding. This is your personal Facebook. If you have a product, a company, or a service, you'll need to create a page. So a Facebook page will look something like this. My page, I called it Andreia Trigo RN. And here you can do videos, you can do posts, you can create events where people can book events through your Facebook. You can have a community, so you can have a Facebook group as well, where you are nurturing your customers. Then we have here again, you can also share your services so people buy directly from Facebook through your shop. You can have offers, so 20% off, 10% off for free consultation. You can also go live on Facebook, photos and videos. And then you can also do ads. Facebook ads, from my experience, tend to be very, very good. It's a much lower cost per click compared to Google. So if you have a small budget, maybe advertising on Facebook together with Facebook and Instagram makes it more cost effective for you. And here it's so easy to set up a goal for your ad. You just need to say if you want to promote your page, if you want to get more leads to your website, if you're trying to promote a certain event. So you choose, and the tool will take you all the way through completion of your ad. Now, it's very important to measure what you're doing. So when you go into insights on Facebook, you'll be able to see how many people you are reaching with the information that you're putting out there. So you will be able to see if you're meeting the needs of your customers, or if you're actually not having any traction and you're just having a lot of work and no traction at all. You'll be able to see where people are from which country and which cities they are from when they're watching your content. So are these the cities where you are wanting to sell your products? You'll be able to see the age and gender as well of those followers. So it's important to see, for me, for example, if I'm looking at mostly women of childbearing age from London, I would say London, Lisbon, that's where my companies are. So UK here, and childbearing age, I can see mostly from 25 to 45. And then we have Instagram. Instagram and Facebook work very well together, but Instagram has the nicest features, I would say. So here on the left, this is mostly your Instagram when you open it. You have here your feed when you start scrolling down to what other people are saying, are showing you through their posts. If you do posts, this is what your customers would see as well. And then you have here at the top, this is what we call stories as well. Remember, Facebook has stories, Instagram has stories as well in this circle format. And when you click on it, it will occupy the whole screen. So you have the full attention of your customers. And it lasts for 24 hours. And it just gives you an extra opportunity to show up at the top of your customers' feed. So if you're not using Instagram, or if you're using Instagram, but you're not using stories, then this is something that you absolutely need to do. So you are right at the top, because in the feed, you may or may not show up in your customers' feed, but because there's much less people doing stories, you are more likely to show up if you are doing stories. They disappear after 24 hours, so it's something that you need to do every day. Then when you go here to your profile, this is what you would see. You have here your name. It's important that you have here a description that you would be associated with. So if I want to be known in the fertility world, I would have to have the word fertility here in the main description. And then we have here 3 or 4 main things that you are aiming to achieve, what you do and what you are aiming to achieve, using hashtags to allow people to follow you. When they are following these hashtags, they will be able to see your feed as well. Here, you will be able to see what we call highlights. Highlights are things that will stay here forever, but are things that you want to grab your customers' attention to. If it's someone who is just getting to know you, who wants to know more about you, you might have highlights, for example, this is my team, this is my product, this is me doing a talk, doing my talks. So it needs to be specific to your business, but it's something that will stay here forever. And then here, there is a link. On Instagram, you are only allowed to have one link. So we need to choose very carefully which link we want to have on Instagram. So one way around it that I found was that I just have on my website, so andreiatrigo.com/Instagram links. So that means that it shows up like this on Instagram, but I can have as many links as I want by creating this web page on my website. It shows up like this. So then I can prompt people, come to my masterclass on the 2nd of November. And if they click, it goes to the registration form, complete my survey on patient experience, check out this interview. So you can have as many links as you want if you do it this way by having a special web page. This is also important because a lot of people who are going to see your Instagram bio will click on this link. So if this link is your website, that means that you are getting all the leads. These people are all going to your website. And if they want, they can straight away click on the menu and explore further on your website. Instagram is one of those channels that the more you participate, the more of the tools you use. If you're using stories, posts, videos, highlights, that means that you are more likely to be seen by others who are following you. If you are posting once a week in the feed and you're not using any of that, any of the other features, that means that you are likely to be seen just by 10% of those who are following you. So if you have 100 followers and you're posting very little and not using the features, then you might be showing up to 10 people when you post something. So you want to be using as many features on Instagram as possible. So you want to be putting normal posts, and this is usually in a square format. The next feature they have recently launched is called Reels. Reels are 15-second videos, very similar to TikTok. But because it's a new feature, Instagram is really promoting it. And a lot of people are not doing Reels. So if you do a Reel, the chances of you being seen by your followers is very, very high. So people would click here in the search icon, and they will be proposed new things that they might enjoy. So if you do Reels, then you're more likely to be shown to other people. Then you can do live videos, and you can do live videos with yourself, or you can invite other people who are on Instagram to do a live video and have a conversation with you. This is a great way to have an interaction, maybe with your customers or with other collaborators, because everyone who follows you and everyone who follows that other person will receive a notification of this Instagram live. So you are in a very good position to gain some new followers from that other person, and that other person might gain some new followers from you as well. So it's a bit of cross-sharing and cross-collaborating, which is good. And it gives your followers the opportunity to get to know you as a brand, ask questions, and that's quite important. These videos, after you've been live, you can be live up to 1 hour. They can be saved here in this icon. This is called IGTV, Instagram TV. So they can be saved there for people to watch at a later stage, and they will stay there forever unless you delete them. So it's quite good to as many features as you can use. And then again, you need to track, and Instagram is quite good with that. However, they only give you analytics for the last 7 days. So you need to track quite often. If you're tracking every year, for example, that's not very good because it only gives you one chance of making changes and improving your service, right? But if you're tracking once a month, it gives you 12 times a year opportunity to make changes. But if you're tracking every week, then you have more chances to make changes. But so it tells you how many people you have reached, if people are interacting more or less than the week before. And it tells you where people are, so the cities, and it tells you the age range as well, men, women, and then it tells you a very important information, which is when are people seeing your stuff. So are they seeing it more on Wednesdays than on Mondays? Then that's the time when you want to post. And you can also see the hours. We can see here that most people see my stuff at 6 p.m. So if I post at 6 p.m. instead of posting at 3 a.m., for example, people are more likely to see my stuff as well. Now, Twitter. I must confess, I'm not a big fan of Twitter. I don't know if there's a lot of people using Twitter apart from Donald Trump, but I am on Twitter as well. It's interesting that Twitter helps with your Google ranking quite a lot. So I think it's important to have a Twitter account for that because you want your Google ranking to be as high as possible. This is when people type something that is related to your business, you want to show up as higher as possible, closer to the first page as possible on Google. That is your Google ranking. So this is what you see in your feeds when you open Twitter. When you click on your icon, you will be able to see your profile. You can have as many pages as you want on Twitter. So if you have different businesses or different products. And in your bio, again, it's important to have hashtags in your bio, and just make sure you have an image and make sure you are following a lot of people. They are following you back. And here you will see all your tweets. Tweets are very short posts. So there's a short amount of text that you are able to put in there. But there's other things that you can do as well. You can share photos. This is how it would show up. You can share a GIF. You can do a poll as well. You can do a video, and you can do an audio as well. So these are all things that you can do, or you can share one of the latest photos on your phone. So you can do a lot of things on Twitter. It's good for Google ranking or for very short announcements and to find what is trending right now. Because when something is trending that is related to your business, you want to follow the trend, you want to follow the hashtag, and you want to comment on it and start making some noise about it as well. And then LinkedIn, which I know a lot of people have said that they already use, probably for B2B. So LinkedIn, this is what I see when I open my LinkedIn. This is my feeds, people I'm following. And here at the top, I can see these circles. And these are the circles that allow me to create stories, just like on Instagram and just like on Facebook as well. So when I click on my icon, I can see all the pages I manage. So if you have a business, you would create a page for your business, and you would be able to share posts for your business as well as for yourself as well. So when you share here in stories, just like Facebook and just like Instagram, it lasts 24 hours. So here, there's not a lot of people doing these stories on Instagram, but these are the people I'm following, they are doing. So they show up higher up on my Instagram as soon as I open my app. And again, you might not be aware of, but apart from sharing photos and text like the ones I usually see on my feed, we can also celebrate occasions. We can also create polls. So again, that's quite interesting because you want to have engagement with your audience. Again, so this is the stories that I see from people I'm following. So if you use LinkedIn quite a lot, it might be that you'd like to maybe start using this new feature. Then YouTube. YouTube, I'm not big on YouTube, but I know there's a lot of people using YouTube. YouTube is the place where you go to learn how to do something. If you want, for example, to learn how to bake a cake, you don't go on Facebook or Instagram or Twitter, because the things that you see on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter are random things that the platform presents to you according to their algorithm and according to what everyone else is posting, people you are following. If you want to know how to bake a cake, you would go on YouTube. So how-to videos, this is the platform for you. So if your feature, your service has a component that you need to teach people how to use something, this would be the place to go. So this is what I see when I open my YouTube. If you click this icon here, it allows you to upload a video or go live as well on YouTube. And then if you click on your icon, you are taken to these options. And I would say the best option here would be the YouTube Studio. This gives you a lot of insight about the videos that you are uploading on YouTube. So here I can see videos. So these are videos that I haven't done on purpose for YouTube. So the more you optimize the content for each of the platforms, the better that content will be performing. If you do square videos for Instagram, for example, if you do the landscape videos for YouTube, all the content being optimized, you'll get much better results. But you can see how many people have seen the video, how many liked, disliked. You can see which videos are your top videos, how long have people been watching, how many people have the videos been shown to. So a lot of this information in analytics is good to know, because the more you know, the more you can adjust your strategy. And now you might be wondering, with so many social media channels, do I need all of them? Well, I would say you need at least one or two if you're doing them really, really well. But I understand it might be quite a lot to sort of manage when you have all the other things to do, when you are a founder and you're trying to grow the business and you're trying to do so many of the other things that founders need to do. So I have this tool here that is called Buffer. And Buffer allows you to schedule all your social media for you. So you don't need to go and do it every day. So what I do is a couple of hours a month, I sit and I do all my social media posts in terms of the images, the text, and then I go on Buffer and I schedule it. And I decide at which day, what time this post is coming out. Here on Buffer, if you're using the free account, you can have up to 3 social media channels. So here I have LinkedIn, and I have LinkedIn page, I have my personal LinkedIn, and I have Twitter. The reason why I have it like this, I don't have all the other social media channels, is because Buffer doesn't work if you have an Instagram creator account. So Instagram allows you to have either individual accounts, business accounts, or creator accounts. So you need to choose what best suits your business. For most people, it will be the business account. And if you have a business account, you will be able to use Buffer as well and schedule through there. However, if you have a creator account, which is good because it gives you more analytics on your Instagram and Facebook, you will have to schedule through what we call Facebook and Instagram Creator Studio. So my scheduling at the moment is split into between Buffer and the Creator Studio. But it's a great tool because it gives you freedom of time to do other things and just focus on Buffer once a month. Then, now that you have your schedule, you have your social media channels, and you know you can schedule, the next thing is you need to actually create the images or the GIFs or the videos for your social media. So I want again to give you an amazing tool. If you're not a designer, I was not a designer at all. So I've been using this for a few years now, and it's called Canva. So Canva allows you to use templates. This is what you see when you open Canva. And as you can see here, you have already pre-made posts for your Instagram stories, which is going to be a standing image or video. You have Instagram posts, which will be square. You have Facebook posts, which are a slightly different dimension to Instagram. You have a Facebook cover, Facebook videos, Pinterest, and then you have so many things, and you can also have bespoke dimensions as well. So here you have templates for everything. So what I did was I started with creating my brand kit on Canva. And that means I'm choosing the colors for my brand, and I'm choosing the fonts for my brand. This is important because you want your brand to be standard. You want people to recognize your post immediately, and the colors you use and the fonts you use will help with that branding. So you're going to choose the colors, and you're going to choose the fonts as well. Then let's say I want to do an Instagram post, and it gives me these options. We can start with a blank Instagram post. If you're not a designer, I would not advise you to start blank because it takes much more work to start from scratch. Or we can choose one of these branded templates. So let's say I've chosen this one, for example, and this is a general promotion post. And we can add photos. They have a lot of photos that are royalty free that you can use. You also have certain elements. You can add more text if you want, and you can also upload your own photos. So I've chosen this one, and I've made some changes to it, as you can see. The key thing with templates is that because they've been done by designers who know what they're doing, you don't want to be changing the template quite a lot, especially if you don't have an eye for design. So don't change it too much, just change it a little bit to make it fit your brand. So change the color to your brand colors. And here I've changed the background to my pink, change the font to your own font. And make sure that if you're making changes, you always want to have dark text on light background or a light text on dark background or the other way around. And you have a call to action, which is your website or wherever you want people to go. So this has been incredibly, incredibly helpful to me. I use it almost every day to make so many things. You can do presentations on it. You can do videos. They have here a section with videos, which you can use straight away as well if you want to create videos for your social media. And then all you need to do is download, and you can download it in different formats as well. And then you can, of course, upload it to Buffer, write up your text, and then it's ready to go. And then you just need to sit and wait and see your social media come out automatically. And it's an amazing feeling. Then I noticed that a lot of you didn't say that your website was the place you enjoy to engage with your customers, but websites and blogs are still very, very important. Your website will be the face of your business, and customers will only be able to engage with you if they know you exist. So to help with your Google ranking, you definitely need a website. You need to have a website with a blog where you're writing very regularly. You need to make sure that your website has SEO. This means that there are certain words in the back end of your website that will allow people to find it when they are Googling something related to your business. If I'm Googling, for example, supplements, and your business is about supplements, you need to have your SEO matching that kind of words. You need to have what we call backlinks. This means that you have other websites that are linking to yours. Maybe people you are collaborating with, for example, are mentioning your website. You want to make sure you have internal links. So if you're writing a blog post and you're making a mention about a certain service you are providing, you're linking to another page within your own website. If you have the right money and it's right for you, definitely engage in Google Ads. If you have a physical location, there is something called Google My Business, which is incredibly powerful. So you mention on Google My Business, this is my address, and then you're able again to do posts, share events, and people will be able to find you, comment, leave reviews, and this is very, very powerful for Google ranking. And again, social media linking back to your website. And if it's useful to you, also review sites like Trustpilot or forums where you can talk about your business. So all of these things together will start growing and growing your Google ranking. You just need to get started. But after a year of doing it, you will see the benefits of doing it. Customers like to know you before they engage with you. There is so much competition out there. If they don't know you exist, or if you don't have much information out there allowing them to get to know you, they are not likely to buy from you. So you need to choose carefully the information that you have on your website, and you need to write monthly blogs, because SEO is one of those things that you need to be constantly working at. You need to write, you need to tag the right words within that blog to make sure that you are current. Otherwise, there's other people, other competitors who will write blogs and will show up first on Google. You want to establish collaborations and cross-sharing, and optimize every page with an SEO plugin as well. Again, those words that are just right for the product that you're selling and will allow people on Google to find you when they are typing a specific word or question. So all of these things are helping us create what I call our sales funnel. If we think about marketing, marketing is an activity that involves this process of creating this information, communicating, delivering, and exchanging something that we have to offer to our customers that they value. So I think of it almost as an onion, and there are several layers of the onion. Let's talk about, for example, your blog and your landing pages that will attract people to then maybe sign up to an email onboarding series, to then maybe schedule an open evening with you, a call or a demonstration, until they finally decide to buy. So you're facilitating the process of the customer who is getting to know you, and he's learning to trust you and say, yes, I want to buy from you. So it's our job in marketing to facilitate the process. So I'm going to show you very easily what my sales funnel works, how it works. So we need to always think about how our customers are buying. So it might be that some sales cycles are a week. It might be that some sales cycles take 6 months. So you just need to, depending on your business, you need to think about how long does it take to sell something. But at the moment, I am on social media. I'm doing Facebook and Instagram ads because it's a very good cost for click, and I am on Google, and I'm just creating content that makes people want to learn more about me. That's all I'm doing. Being myself, sharing what I'm all about. all of these posts on social media, Facebook, Instagram ads, all of these has a call to action and leads to one place. This will either be my website, my blog, or a landing page. Here on website, blog, and landing page, you need to have two options because there are two types of buyers. There are people who are emotional buyers and they will buy immediately if they feel a connection with you. So you want to have an option of taking action now, buy now, schedule the consultation now. However, there's also a lot of people who are more rational buyers and they want to analyze everything and get to know you a bit more. So you need to have an option of for this kind of buyers. And you might be thinking, maybe I'm selling more to emotional buyers or I'm selling more to rational buyers. And usually we tend to sell to the people who are like we are. But it's good to have both options on your website, blog, and landing page. Either way, you want at this point to get their email addresses. So you are collecting their email addresses. And you need to think that a lot of people are receiving a lot of emails every day. So what you have to give them at this point needs to be worth it for me to give you my email address. So it might be, for example, a handbook, a PDF handbook that you have written, or something that will say that they will say, well, I definitely want this for me, so you can have my email address. I'm definitely interested in learning more from you. This email address goes to, in my case, goes to something called Mailchimp. Mailchimp stores all these email addresses and allows us to send emails to these people who have subscribed. So I'm sure you have all subscribed to something at some point. Once this email enters Mailchimp through a certain landing page or through the blog or through the website, they receive an email onboarding series. This is a nurturing campaign to tell them more about who we are as a company. So we want to tell them, this is the problem. The second email, we want to tell them the problem that you have actually has a solution. The next email, I am the solution to your problem. And then you want a call to action. So over a course of a few days or a few weeks, depending on how long your sales cycle is, you want to be sending this email onboarding series. The call to action will be either an open evening or scheduling a demonstration or scheduling a call, whatever is relevant to your business. At the moment, I'm doing both the demonstration and the call. And this is an opportunity for your customers as well as for you to see if you are a good fit and if you can work together. And after this call or this demonstration or this open evening, you are giving your customers two options. If they are convinced, you are going to sell them your service or your product. However, if they still have some sort of objection that you're not able to distract, if they say it's not the right time, if it's not the right, they don't have the right money, or if there's still a few things they need to have in place, you are going to put them in a nurture cycle. Nurture cycle doesn't mean that they are never going to buy from you. It just means that they were not ready to buy from you now. So here you might be sending them monthly newsletters. Again, I'm doing it from Mailchimp, where you're able to track who has opened these emails, where in the email have they clicked, what are they actually interested about. So you can actually get to know them a little better and then make an offer that fits their needs. Now, I have some key takeaways before I give you a certain activity. My key takeaways of today are, first, to understand where your customers are. Who are you selling to? Are they spending time on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter? Where are they? Because that's where you need to interact them with. So, and once you've chosen one or two platforms, you're going to make the most use of that platform with all the features that you can have in that platform. Then you have to have a strategy. Remember this funnel, it is a strategy, and you're facilitating the process of your customers to get to know you and eventually buy from you. So you need to have a strategy. It's a process, it's not random. You need to measure your strategy, measure everything. How many people click your ad or click your posts? How many of those actually go to your landing page? How many of those give you their email addresses? How many of those actually book the demonstration or the call? And how many of those you actually sell to? So you want to be measuring every step of the way. And if you are investing money, how much did it cost to invest in the beginning, to pay for that ad, and how many sales did you get out of it? So it's important to have a strategy and to measure the strategy. Again, if you measure once a year, you only have the option of improving once a year. If you measure 12 times once a month, you will have 12 times a year to improve your strategy. The more frequently you measure, the more you'll be able to adjust the strategy. So adjusting your strategy is really, really important. And I have one last poll that I would like to do with you today. I hope you're still with me. I know it's a lot of information, but I hope it's being useful. The last poll I have here is, I want to know, do you already have a strategy that is maybe similar to what I'm talking about? Yeah, this is really interesting. So I'm going to end the poll and I'm going to share the results with you. So you said that yes, but it could be improved, or not yet, which takes me to the last question before I move on to the Q&A. I want to know, what are the 3 actions that you think you can take from this webinar today that can improve your social media strategy? You can either write it up in the Q&A, or you can write it up in the chat box as well. And it's really interesting to know, what can you take from today? And Rosemary is saying, I'm a huge fan of Twitter lists. I've created a roundup of folks who tweet about innovation in healthcare. That is amazing, Rosemary. So I know it was a lot of information, what I've shared, but hopefully some of these tools, either the features from social media or the information about the importance of blogs on your website, or the information about Canva, to use Canva to create your posts using templates, or even Buffer to schedule them, maybe they will be useful to you.
Andreia, can I abuse chair's privilege and ask you all of my questions?
Yes, absolutely.
So since you started speaking, Ala has coached me through turning my Instagram into a business account, and
yes,
I've been jumping back and forth between all of my apps here. My own problem would be that I'm a little bit of a perfectionist. I wouldn't let my PhD supervisor see any of my chapters until they were nearly at a published standard. How do you get over that? I think it's one of those things where perfect is the enemy of done. And how do you feel about blogging when you're a little unsure about it, or you're not sure that the content is as polished as it could be?
Well, I understand what you're saying, Rosemary. I think definitely done is better than perfect. If I look back at the posts that I published maybe 3 years ago, they were horrible. But, I think it's good to be out there, because you're starting to learn how to use the platform as well. And when you are posting, for example, on Instagram, I would say it's good to post every day, but no more than twice a day. Because Instagram only shows you the recent posts. So my followers will not see something that I've posted last week unless they go through my feed, but it doesn't show up automatically in their feed unless they purposely look for mine. Whereas if we go, for example, on Twitter, it will show you older stuff from last week as well. So Instagram post every day. It depends how much you can commit to as a business as well. So if you can commit to 3 times a week, that's perfect as well. Just something that you can commit to, but definitely more than once a week, no more than twice a day. And don't worry, you will get better. And no one will see it next week. So it's best just to get it out, because it will give you experience and it will help you learn about it as well.
Absolutely. Have you had any posts that you were very surprised by the impact they had?
Yes, I would say so. So I use Instagram quite a lot because for my business in the area of fertility, it allows for anonymity. And there is a certain stigma associated with infertility. So my customers don't want everyone on their Facebook know what they liked, what they shared. So if your product is something to be proud of, definitely use Facebook. And there's lots of people who will follow you and like you and share. However, for my fertility business, there is stigma attached to it. So Instagram allows people to have an anonymous account that no one knows who they are unless they share. So their friends and family will not know what they liked, what they've written, what they followed. So it's a bit more private. And there, when you're talking about things that worked really well, if I put a photo of my dog, for example, it may have a lot of likes, right? And it does. However, those likes not necessarily linked to links to my website and then buys. They are just people who really like my cute Labrador. So there might be other posts that maybe don't get the likes, but trigger a follow and then a buy. So we're talking more, the algorithm has changed recently. So we're talking about posts that people can save. There is a certain icon on the bottom right corner of each post that allows people to save your post. So if you're using, for example, infographics, people are more likely to save that. They are not going to save a photo of my dog or a photo of myself, but that might have a lot of likes. So it's good to have a mixture of both, from things that people will like and share. No one is going to share my face either, but they might share my infographic. A mixture of things people might like, people might share, and then people might save for later as well.
Absolutely. One of our past team members in EIT Health UK Ireland has started a PhD in getting young women to have a better, healthy relationship with exercise, called the Horizon Project. And every time Emma tweets, I have it saved into my collections because it's a free workout every single day. We have quite a few people posting their 3 actions, which is brilliant. Not terribly many questions. I think we've answered those that came up.
So get on Instagram, buffer scheduling, and use stories. Yes, stories are amazing because it's just 15 seconds and people will flick through the stories. And may I just add one last thing? I know we're tight on time, Rosemary, but if you're using stories on Instagram, you want to be advertising on stories, because not a lot of people are advertising on stories. A lot of people are advertising on the feed as a square. So if you use stories, you click to see someone's story, and then you're clicking 15 seconds, and then until it transfers to the next person you're following and you see their stories. Instagram story ads will fit right in between without you even noticing. In between stories, they show up and it's a full screen, so you have the full attention of your customers. It's not a square in between other squares up and down. So
Genius.
Instagram stories can be incredibly powerful for advertising.
Yeah. I think your point about its relevance for medicine is hugely important as well, that it gives that anonymity. We've just gone 3 o'clock, which in my experience means that everybody is going to start running off to their next meetings. Andreia, thank you for that absolutely fabulous primer, as every single one of us become health innovation influencers after this. And thank you very much for joining us. To our audience, thank you for bearing with us for the entire series. We will be publishing these on YouTube in the coming months. In case you missed something, or if you want to send it on to a friend. It's been a real pleasure to have you. And I want to just thank again Alla for all of her amazing work, not just on fixing my Instagram account within the last hour, but for teeing up these great speakers, for taking such great care of them, and for making sure we had such a great audience for all of it.